Back with the fucking cuda finally. No fucking prize by any means, but it's an E-body and, well, it's doable. You know, it's fucking thing is what it is, but it's still a 70 Barracuda. You know. I don't know, fucking Farmer Joe been under here working, and it's kind of a fucked up mess. I haven't been able to get it inside and jack it up and really look underneath a bit, but for now I'm hoping to just square the rear end up in it and, you know, use what's there, and but get it squared up so this thing will fucking track right, and get it running and just drive, you know, mud it up and just drive it for now. But if it's too much of a mess underneath, then I'll concentrate on driving something else, and when I get a chance I'll bring this one in and cut the fucking thing all apart and do it right. You know, a lot of shit going on, and you know, she needs some good old TLC, but I think we can make a fucking driver out of it fairly easy. Do I regret trading? No, not yet. The hood, he had sandblasted and put it on, left it sit out. I'm gonna squirt the acid to it and get rid of the surface rust and get it in primer. You know, it needs work. It's fucking, for a main car, it's actually pretty decent. You see somebody's been in here already fudging it up, fixing rust, because there's no spot welds here. You know, you can tell this is all Bondo. Some overlap tin back there to hide some more fucking rust, and a crack here, so they've obviously put a piece in to stiffen the fucking hinge area up. Core support looks good. You know, there's a lot of mud on the firewall. You can see the fucking seam's gone. You know, so that was probably all rusted and fucking rotted, and they just mudded it up. So when it comes time to do this car right, I'll have to put a firewall in it. In the upper cowl. It's going to do two inner fenders, frame rail, one-piece floor pan, rear pan, transition pan, complete trunk pan, and rear frame rails. Two factory-style rear quarters, probably door skins. Basically, in the end, it will be a brand new car, but it's going to take a lot of fucking time to get there, and I don't know, probably $8,000 in sheet metal. So, and trust me, $8,000 is a long fucking ways away from my pocket. So there it is. Yeah. Okay, I got the cuda in for a few days. A lot of shit going on right now, so I don't have much time to work on it. So, anyway, the goal is to get it, you know, running by the key. You can't see shit. Fucking flashlight. I don't know where it is. Oh, there's one. You can't see on that great, but Trust me, it's a fucking wiring nightmare. You know, he's got wires going everywhere, try to hot wire it, get it to run. I've got another harness of another car. I'm hoping it's going to fit in the bulkhead connector and just be to plug it in and fire it up. If not, then I'm going to have to sit down and actually make a fucking harness. I did a quick measurement on the wheelbase, from the door gap to the rim, and it seems pretty much the same from side to side. So I don't think this is bad. What throws people off when they're looking at it is all the butchering they've done on both sides of the car, and they've put the patches in. And I don't think they have them in the right spot, so it's not the rear end that's off, it's the wheel hole. I'll double check it, make sure it's squared. And I think it's an A-body rear end that's in it, and not an E-body. I have to remedy that situation. What else? A piece of shit. Oh yeah, like a window don't roll up and down. Need to put a regulator in it. Not a big deal, I have one. Fuck off my shit. It's got one of those slip-on dash covers. I don't mind them. They look good. Yeah, they're hard, but who gives a fuck. The interior is not bad. Seats are wrong, but they're in good shape. I actually like these seats better than I do the Cuda seats. Like I said, I'm just hoping to hack attack it and drive it. I mean, to the point where I'm not even going to redo these. I'm just going to fucking wind the mud to them. The hood, I'm going to use this hood, but I got to pull it off. And I don't know why, but the guy had it sandblasted, then he put it on the car instead of leaving the other hood on the car. He had this one sandblasted, and he put it on the car, and it's been sitting outside. And, so I got to get it off and spray it with acid. Some heavy spots I might hit with a sandblaster. Get it off, get the acid to it, and a scuff pad, and like some of these little pits where it's kind of getting heavy, I'll go at it with a glass bead. The underside of the hood's pretty much junk. There's fucking holes all through it, which is too bad because the top of the hood's nice. And yeah, I can drill it and separate them and put this on another understructure, but it really ain't worth it considering you buy a fucking new hood. You're gonna buy everything else with this car, why not buy a hood? Anyway, I'll be back. I gotta take the hood off by myself. It's kind of a pain in the ass. But for any of you out there that's got to do this by yourself, take your back bolts out first. As you can see how this mounts on the side here. Take your back ones out, and when you loosen your front ones, that hood's going to tilt forward. It's going to come down here and sit in here and rest on your hinge. So when you just take the front bolts out, the hood's just going to sit there like that. Then you can just grab it from each side and pick the fucking thing up. As you can see, the acid's doing its trick. Pretty neat shit right here, I tell you. It's made from purple power. But all it is phosphoric acid. That's the main ingredient. I don't know if you can buy that acid from a hardware store anymore or not. I know you used to be able to, that and sulfuric. Sulfuric acid does this, works really great and fast. The downside is it will rust everything that's in your fucking shop, even the tools in your toolbox. And the sulfuric acid doesn't leave a coating behind, so it will rust right away again. With this stuff here, the phosphoric acid leaves a a phosphorus coating. Anyway, I'm going to pull the hood off, play around a little bit, smoke some weed. Trunk lid, it's got the cutouts of the spoiler, but the lip is junk and it's all Bondo. It's a trash can item. More junk parts of the hood. But there's how the hood is right now. Once you take the bolts out. Now I just gotta grab it by the sides and pick it up. Hey, get some stuff figured out. Got to turn over by the key. I've got some spark. I don't have any gas. All I have is lacquer thinner. And it's all flammable. I think if the throttle is hooked up, probably do something here. Jam that fucker open somehow. Come on, you fucking pig. Oh, there's half throttle. No. Needs to get gas in it. Well, anyway, I'm going to get inside, hook up the cable to the pedal. It's missing the retaining clip, so somehow I got to figure out how to make it like that. Yeah, I got to blow the tank out with an air hose, hook the fucking throttle up, put some gas in it, see what it does. Then clean up the wiring mess. We got a few gallons of gas in the tank now. Okay, we got this thing running. Actually, there is no we really. Oh yeah. The distributor in this is a late model molder. I think he said it was an 84. But anyway, year don't matter. What matters is the distributor. There's no vacuum advance on it. This was an electronic advanced distributor. It was done through a computer, which the computer is gone now, so I gotta swap this out with advanced distributor. Now, on these Mopars, I recommend taking the coil right off. You know, they're usually mounted right here, right in the fucking way. Unbolt it, unplug the wire, and flop it to the side. GM, you're on your own. Get in there with a 9/16 wrench and do it. I recommend buying the distributor wrench for your Chevy guys. You know, it's a fucked up looking wrench to go around the distributor. I'd buy it. If not, heat up a wrench and make one. But anyway, once you get the hole down loose, with your Mopars, you got to take them off because they're not slotted. Once you get that ready, don't turn the distributor. Pull your cap off and see where your rotor button's pointing. Because you're going to put that right back in the same fucking spot. Technically, I could bump this motor over to the button points right there, or another reference point. I can point it at the firewall and make a mark. But I know in this general direction is where it was, and that's all that matters, because I'm going to time this motor anyway after. Just twist it and pull upward. That's all there is to it. Now, you want to take the button off and check the indexing on your distributor. See this notch here? Lines up to the back of the rotor button. So the rotor button points, you know, like that, which almost lines up with the shaft. They're not in a direct line, they're close to it, they're just a little off. Your Chevy guys, if you're a factory distributor, your rotor button runs with your fucking slot. It won't be offset. But the MSD ones, they're off. And you got to do that for reference when you put the distributor back in, so it lines up the oil pump shaft. Sometimes you got to go down through with a long screwdriver down through the hole and turn the oil pump a little bit to get it to go down in. But anyway, it's that easy. Right back down in the hole, rotor button pointing right where it was. I just gotta clamp it down snug, but enough so I can still move it. Plug it in, fire it up, and time it. But before I do all that, I'm going to clean up the fucking harness, tape it up. I might even make one, because this is really fucking shitty. But it's functional. And that's all I give a shit about right now. You're going to see some crude shit happening to this car. Okay, back of the cuda. Need to do the training lines on it. Of course, I found out the hard way. I did look underneath, they looked okay, but they had a couple pinholes in them. And it spilled some fluid, which I hate. Not that I give a fuck about getting anything on a garage floor. But I paint here. And from a painting standpoint, I don't like any type of oils on the floor, anywhere at all. Paint and oils don't mix. Training fluid's not bad. It's not going to cause fisheye. In fact, with some of your old paints like the enamels and whatnot, if you're spraying that and you put a coat down and you see some fish eyes popping up, you can actually dump some training fluid in it, mix it up, and start painting again, and the fish eyes usually go away. Don't know why, but it does. Brake fluid's the worst. I don't even allow brake fluid in this fucking garage at all. It stays outside. On the rare occasion I even have it. That and Armor All. But anyway, I get the lines, got the bender, and kind of fuck around with it like it's a butterfly knife. I get underneath, pull the training lines out. When you're doing these, if you're trying to make them, there's two ways. You can rip the fucking things out. You can go in there and kink the tubes up and get them in, make them functional, and they're going to look like shit. I could do that to this car. I really don't care either way. But generally, Mopars are fairly easy to do. I should be able to take the lines out, no problem. Set them on the floor and put the bends in these lines and slide them right in. These Chevy guys, sometimes those can be a pain in the ass because they snake them around too much shit. So it's kind of hard to make them and put them in without kinking them in the car. But anyway, I get down here and I got my redneck creeper out. I don't get along with creepers. It's a hair thing. My hair gets caught in the fucking wheels and it drives me nuts. But anyway, I'm gonna rip these out, make the lines, so I'll be back. Yeah, I got one line out, and the other one's in there just hanging. It's ready to come out, but the lack of space, I leave it in the car. As you can see, the brake tubing has a different end. It's referred to as a male. Now the car has what's referred to as a female. You know, it's got something that's got to thread into it. So I have to cut this tubing right here and take the nut off the old line. And I have to do that technically before it's flared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kink the line up. As you can see, I've got excess. I always buy more than you need because you can always make them shorter. So what I'll do is I'll kink this line up with a flare on it and the nut that's on it, and I'll leave it long. So after it's all kinked out, all you do is cut this, take this nut off and slide it onto this tube. Then just put the flare back into it, you know, cut it to length, put the flare in it, and I'm done. Now, there's several tubing benders out there. This is probably the better one I've used. You can buy springs to slide over them, stop you from kinking. Technically, you could almost do this line by hand, except for this bend. Probably this bend. It has a tendency to kink on you. But it's real simple. See if I can hold this fucking thing in my chin. You got different sizes for your tubing. You got degree marks. I don't know what degree that is. It's more than a 90. You know, probably about here. 100 maybe? No, I don't know. I'm just going to kink it till it's about like that. So, the first thing to do is get the tubing in here. Now, as I go, I'm going to make this first bend right here. I'm going to duplicate that. Then I'll just go along down the line doing the rest of them. And to do that, you get it in. I don't know how much this is going to show you. See that or not? Yeah, I guess you can see that. It's real simple. That's how you bend. Okay, I've got the line. I've got my nut off. The female one. I don't know if you noticed, but these aren't raw steel. They have a coating on them. In Maine up here, where they spray a lot of salt and calcium on the roads because of the ice. tends to eat raw metal. Well, I got these coated lines. The idea is good, but the fucking problem is that coating adds a thickness to the tube. Now I see a lot of shops, when they're gonna swap a nut like this, they'll take a fucking wire wheel to the tube, sandpaper or something, and what they'll do is they'll take the coating off so the nut will fit on the tube. As you can see, it fits pretty tight, and it's kind of hard to spin by hand. And you don't want that, because you want to be able to flare this, put that up where it's supposed to be, and start the nut by hand, so you can feel it's not cross-threaded. So instead of taking the coating off, which will cause it corrode and rust, I just go in with a little file. Kind of hard to do this one-handed. It's not like masturbation. I use 3 fingers to masturbate, by the way. Yeah, I'm not hung like a horse. But basically, you're just going in and cleaning all the shit off that nut. And in some cases, you got to file the nut away a little bit to get it to spin freely. Sometimes you can do it with a drill bit. Of this, the same size tube, just run a drill bit through and just kind of wiggle the drill a little bit, and that usually works. But anyway, I'm gonna clean the nut, get it to fit the tube good. Then I'll be back so I can show you how to double flare. Okay, the first thing to do in the flare, one, make sure you put your fucking nut on, because that sucks after you get the tube all flared and you find this laying on the floor of the bench. Yeah. Okay. Now the first thing you got to do is you got to square the end of your tube where you've cut it. And to do this, I put it in the tool backwards. I'll get to that in a second. Actually, I put it in the tool backwards and just stick it up, a little bit, like 1/2 16. And you take a file and file it flat right down to this tool. Use that as a guide. Right? I should probably have the tripod for doing this. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you got to deburr the edge of it. And again, that's just a file going on the edge, taking that little burr off from where you've cut it and where you filed it. Now, doing stainless steel tubing, this is not, you usually got to take quite a bit off because it's a motherfucker to flare. But anyway, once you get your outer edge all cleaned up, then you got to do the inside. Now, some of these kits come with a tool for doing that, which is this thing. That just goes in the end. You spin it. That cleans the inside burrs out. A Phillips screwdriver will work. Even this file, you can get that corner in there and fucking go around it. Not a big deal. Now the next step is putting it in the tool. Fucking sucks, I can't see shit. Now if you look, you'll see the tools marked with your sizes of your tubing, which this is a 5/16 tube. Now, if you noticed, I use the back side of this tool. A lot of people don't even know there's a front or a back to it. You see this side's flat. This side with all the sizes on it and the markings. This is a KD tool, by the way. Save your money, don't buy a Snap-on. Now you see the one with all the sizes and markings, it's got a mouth on it. It's beveled, countersunk, whatever you want to call it. That's where you're going to be doing your flaring. Now, in your kit, which I just noticed is missing a piece, because, you know, I've got friends that borrow shit and lose half this shit. But you get your 5/16 die, and you get your other piece. I really don't know what the fuck all this, other than fucking stock. Okay, anyway, the key thing to doing the flare is you gotta get your tube depth right. Because if you look at this die, you see there's a step in it right here. You see that? Anyway, you see the step in it? You want your tubing to stick up out of your tool the height of this step. As you can see, I'm down in the tool. There we are. Still in a little bit. But that's the distance you want your tubing sticking up out of your tool is this shelf. And this actually goes in like that, right? But the next step is to tighten these really good. If not, when you try to flare it, you're just going to push the tube out of your tool. Now if you look, you'll see this has kind of a concaved area in it to this post. And it's not flat. And what happens, that tube comes up and it hits that and rolls in, forms like a ball. And when that happens, you're going to be bottomed out on your tool. That's when you take this out. Then you come in with this piece again. And that finishes the flare. Now the best way to do this is in a vise. You can clamp this into a vise. And that will hold it good and give you fucking free hands and whatnot, so you don't have to try to hold this and do everything all at once. Now remember, you get your deck, put the dink in the hole, okay, I just put a little training fluid on this for the threads, and as you can see, this piece here spins. On this shaft, you can actually spin this. So it's always a good idea to squirt a little bit of lube in there now and then, because you don't want it binding up, you want it to work freely. And when you're flaring, a little bit of fucking lubrication right here in your tool, which is what I did. I just put a drop of training fluid in there. Trying to do this on camera, I tell you. I feel like a monkey fucking a football. Okay, there we go. Now you see how that sets in the tool. Now this spins over up against the tool and stops this whole fucking cage from spinning. That point sets down in your little arbor thing. Now if you've got friends like I do, and you let some people borrow shit, and you get it returned with missing tools, you're going to utilize, this kit is supposed to have a fucking metal shaft, you know, about like that. But since a friend of mine, and for Richie's sake I won't mention any names, lost it, I'm going to use a screwdriver. Now anyway, all you're doing is cranking that down. You tighten it until your fucking little tool here hits the main frame on your tool. And that's when you stop doing this. Okay. Now you just back this off, get your little tool out, put that back in the case. That's what you should see. It's kind of a ball that's flat on top. Now you come back with this tool. And again, you just tighten it down. Then back it off. Get it the fuck out of there. And you loosen your tool. Take it out. And there you have a double flare. Pretty simple, ain't it? Now before you put these in, it's a good idea to take a blowgun and blow through it. Or even if you just put it in your mouth and blow. Don't suck on it, you might get a mouthful of shit. Now, I'm just going to make this one last kink where it comes up and goes to the training. But as you can see, that's how you duplicate a training line. Or brake line for that matter, any hard line. Hey, I'll show you something. The flare got fucked up on it. It didn't double flare good. This will leak, so this is junk. It happens. You know, the tool might not have been square, the tube might not have something. It's just one of them fucking days. Trust me, there's a lot of those days when you're doing this shit. So basically, I gotta cut the nut off, throw the tube away, but I'm a guy, so I'm probably gonna tuck that away in the corner and fucking pack rat it for 5 years and never use it. Then throw it away. But yeah, it happens. Don't let this shit discourage you. You know, no big deal. Buy another fucking line, flare it, and you'll get it. Yeah, I've been doing this since I was fucking 12. I mean, I'm 40-something now, and it happens. That's all there is to it. Another note. I'm trying to watch my mouth. Been a few comments on it. I don't know what to tell you. It's just the fucking way I am. But I am trying to watch my mouth. I don't like to do that. I'm not one to bite my tongue. I'll tell you how it is, you know. With me changing what I'm about to say, it makes me feel kind of like a liar. Maybe more to myself than anything. But anyway, I am trying to watch my mouth. But you're going to hear some fucking swearing. If that bothers you, if you can't deal with it, take that mouse, slide it over, and click it on someone else's video. Don't know what to tell you. Or get the fuck over it. 2, yeah, I smoke weed. I don't try to hide it, although I don't try to flaunt it in the video, but you're going to occasionally see a bowl, a bag of weed, you know. Another thing, if you don't like that, again, take that mouse, click on someone else's video. I don't hide it. Again, it makes me feel like a, lion or whatever. I don't know. I try not to flaunt it, but at the same time, I don't hide it, even in front of the cops. A few years ago, somebody out here struck I don't know, they got an accident out here, struck a mailbox or some shit. I was in here block sitting in the Chevelle. It's not my property, it's not my car, no one I know, therefore none of my business. So I just you know, back to work doing what I was doing. I was block sanding and didn't hear anything, you know. I heard the smash and look up, oh, somebody got in a fucking accident. Oh well, back to work. A fucking state cop walked up behind me, you know. I didn't hear him because I'm in there block sanding. Door open, you know, and just doing my thing. Bowl and a little bag of weed sitting on top of the car, and I just grabbed the bowl and, you know, took a good hit off from it, and all of a sudden I hear this, excuse me. And I turned around and the state cop standing there, and it just like, oops. Oh shit. But he was cool. I mean, I said it, you know, I just blew the hit out, set the bowl back on top of the car, and it's like, what's up? You know? What else am I going to do? You know, he's like, oh, I just, you know, accident over there, wondering if you saw anything. No, didn't see nothing. I just, you know, in here working, I heard it, and that was it. Don't know what happened. You know, and he's all right, thanks, have a nice day, and he left, and that was the end of that. You know, now, the way I see it, if he doesn't have a problem, he smoking a little bit of weed now and then, you fucking people shouldn't either. But if you do, click on a different video of someone else's. With that said, yeah, if you can live with that and watch my videos, enjoy, learn something, you know, unless you're a know-it-all, then you're not going to learn nothing. And again, if you're a know-it-all, click over on someone else's fucking video. But anyway, I don't have another line here. What fucking time is? Yeah, it's almost 5. The car quest is closed, won't deliver. So I'm going to get high, and I'm going to call it a day, and I'll get a line tomorrow and make another line, put it in, and get some training fluid, and see if this green pile of poop will actually move on its own. I got some of the lights working. The car is kind of an electrical nightmare. The car itself is actually a fucking nightmare, but you know, got the headlights. I got some of the tail lights working. I need bulbs. But yeah, getting underneath this car to do these train lines, you know, that's actually the first time I'm getting a good look underneath this car, and it's like, holy shit. Not so sure I should have traded, but it's too late now. I own the pile, so I can get a flashlight and get you to look underneath this car with me. You can see something, you know. Old Farmer Joe's been in here, the welder, and he's just, you know, the old angle iron. And they're just patching and hacking and, you know, they're just not giving a shit. I'm going to have to fucking fix this one over here. They missed a couple spots. You can't see shit. You know, this front frame rail's been all angle iron and bubblegum together with a welder, and you know, you don't even want to see the back end of this car. But anyway, that's what that is. But if I can hack it up enough to drive it, then I'll be happy. You know, if I can drive this piece of shit for a year, have fun doing it, then it, you know, to me it's worth it. You know, I'll drive this thing right into the ground, or I get to the point where I could actually buy all the sheet metal this car needs and the time to do it, I'll do it. You know, I'll make it new again. If that day don't come, whatever. You know, I'm going to have fun driving this fucking thing. You know. And that's one thing I do with my cars. I drive them. This car will see off-road. It's going to get stuck in mud. It's going to be blowing donuts in snow. I'm going to drive the shit out of this car if I can. You know. That's what the fucking thing was built to do, and that's what I do with them. It's mine, I can do what I want with it. So, anyway, I don't know what's next. Like I said, I'm going to get the turning line in it, clean up the wiring harness, and see if this car will actually start and drive on its own. I don't know if it has brakes. I don't know nothing about it. So, I'll be back when I get to that point.